YouTube friends and family, to today's prepping edition of the Wellness Homesteader. So I thought I would just take a few minutes to talk to you about a few things that I think is wise to be doing right now. Stay tuned. So today is the last day of March. Not sure when this will be posted for your watching. But I was just reflecting this morning on the fact that before we know it, it is going to be full-on canning, dehydrating, and freeze-drying season. And I needed to get a few things done to A, empty out my freezer, B, take stock of my pantry and reorganize it, and C, just take notes of things I'm not well prepped on. So this morning, I have been working on my first freeze-dried product, and here you go. I have vacuum sealed. I chose not to use Mylar bags. It's certainly an option. This is 2 quarts of apples. I had one tray that didn't get as dry as the others, so I'm going to refreeze dry that. And along with that, I'm going to, excuse my counter mess, guys. I'm going to work on, what did I do with my knife? There it is. I washed it, dried it, and put it away. You know, sometimes my automatic cleaning is a bad deal. But anyway, I'm just going to try slicing these strawberries evenly. And one thing you will note, let me flip down here. My trays do not have the silicone mat. That's because they were back ordered and you could not even order them. I have since been able to order them. So what happens is I didn't find that things really stuck horribly. It's just, it left a lot of residue. So I've washed my trays from my apples, and I have a quart of strawberries that I'm going to be freeze drying. And in addition to that, I have some spinach, because it won't be long till fresh spinach will be available here on my little tiny homestead, and I'll be able to, you know, eat fresh salads or put it in my smoothies. I do put greens in my smoothies. What I want to try to do is make some green powder by freeze drying the spinach. I am not a fan of kale, guys. I've tried and tried. I know it's a super healthy food for me, so I may try some kale from the grocery. I am not, or the farmer's market. I am not going to take any garden space with growing kale. And also freeze dry that, then put it in my Instant Pot Ace blender, powder it up. Then I can vacuum seal it or whatsoever to preserve it to have for my smoothies. I do a lot more smoothies in the summer than the winter, because I don't like drinking ice cold things in the winter because it's so cold. Speaking of weather, I hope you all who are in the path of these crazy winds are staying safe. In the intro, you might have noticed the lid was off of my veggie pot, and that is not by design, that is by wind. I'm tired of going out and putting it back on. And it snaps pretty tight, so I'm not sure that it's gonna stay on no matter what I do. So I am just going to leave it be. So just a couple things that I wanted to run by you this morning. This is gonna be kind of a chatty video. And that is, you know, don't worry about what people are saying about you prepping. I have friends, yes, friends, who think I'm crazy. And you know what? This is what I say to them. Okay, for sake of argument, let's say I'm wrong. And inflation slows down or ceases. Things go back to quote unquote normal. And I have all this food. How's that bad? That's bad. Why? Because really, I do feel that it's coming, and that's why I prep. But there's no disadvantage that I can think of. So you may say, yeah, but you're spending a lot of money, you know, producing food and buying food, you know, in advance of what you need. Well, we have health insurance, we have car insurance, we have homeowners insurance. So this is food insurance in my viewpoint. So I try to make the argument that even if nothing ever happens, And what becomes of this food is I simply eat it over time. I'm not out anything. Hey, save myself some trips to the grocery store. Save myself on my grocery bill upcoming. To me, there's absolutely zero disadvantage to prepping. So a couple things I happen to think of this morning is I like to diversify my prepping so I don't just have homegrown food that is canned, now freeze-dried, or dehydrated. I have store-bought cans. And there's been a lot of buzz lately about the fact you need to check expiration dates. So I do want to put that out there because a lot of this food, because of the supply chain issue, may have been sitting for a while before it got delivered. So do remember to check your expiration dates. And here's a couple things you may not have thought of. And I think this first one is brilliant, and it's not my original idea. I actually heard it on another channel, but I'm going to share it with you. You know how cans nowadays, you can have the regular like electric canner or the crank style canner open cans. But I am seeing more and more and more pull top cans. And in general, those do not stay shelf stable, always a hard word for me, quite as long as, say, what a regular crank open, perfectly sealed can. There's just more opportunity for that perforated, if you will, seal to go bad. So my suggestion is, when you can find it, try to not buy those bags that are bags. Yeah, I'm opening a bag and saying bag. Try not to purchase. Oh my word, guys. It's been this way all week for me. Can't talk for nothing. Don't purchase pop-top cans if you can help it. Okay, I got that out. Another thing, oils. So it's kind of hard to prep oils for super, super long term because oils do go rancid over time. So you might be in a store and be like, oh, score, I just found this gallon of olive oil and it's like half price of all the others. Read the label very carefully because a lot of the inexpensive oils have been cut with some water to add volume and they will go rancid much quicker. If you are buying tomato products like spaghetti sauce, pizza sauce, anytime that you can get those in a glass jar versus a tin can, go for the glass jar if it's affordable because it will last longer and the acid in the tomatoes can actually eat through or eat into, let's say, the metal and leave you with a metallic taste in your product, and it wouldn't be as fresh or as good as well. One more suggestion. Oh, don't forget about hygiene and cleaning products in your prepping. I haven't focused on that real heavily. I've pretty much talked about food, but guys, I'm set on hygiene. Making soap and other body products helps. But don't forget about that because you still want to keep yourself clean and your environment clean in the event something does go wrong. So I have all of my trays filled. That was quick. The whole process runs a lot quicker if I pre-freeze these. So I'm going to go to my deep freeze. I'm going to play Jenga for a minute. And I am going to pre-freeze these before I start the actual freeze drying process. And then we'll see what else we're going to get into. So stay tuned. So another project I wanted to work on today is freeing up my freezer from all of this bread flour, the pre-ground bread flour that I bought. Now I have two kinds of buckets, guys. I have the Gamma lids for the 5-gallon buckets, and then I have the snap-on lids, which require like a rubber mallet to hammer them down and an extraordinary amount of strength to actually pry them off. So I'm going to go ahead and invest. And again, guys, this is a process. I didn't get here, and I've been prepping now for about 3 years, like in earnest. I can't afford to buy all this stuff at once, so just take your time. These are 5-pound bread flours. I have 20 pounds here. I put 5 pounds in my bread canister. Yeah, I'm gonna be all floury. So my Azure pickup is actually tomorrow, so it's a good reminder. I need to get online and go ahead and order 6 more gamma lids. And even though they're pricey, you know, pricier than just buying the regular snap on and off, I am in and out of my grains a lot, and it's so much easier with the gamma lid. Plus, your food is more protected. So I know these are small little tasks, but these are things that when you commit to having a long-term pantry or prepping, you definitely want to respect your food and take good care of it. So the reason these were in my freezer, that will kill any bugs or eggs. Wow, I'm gonna look like I have distressed jeans here. And Frankie's helping. I don't know if you can see him back here. Normally, I don't let him in this room a lot because he doesn't bother anything really. I guess it doesn't matter, but he likes to check out the food. And he's like, is that for me, my mom? I literally had to put his cat food up on the top shelf, his overstock of cat food, because he would try to chew through the bag. Yeah, didn't you? You helping in my mom's? You want to say hi to the peoples? And somehow he got into something. He's got like a little sticky spot on him, so. You've been sampling stuff, have you? And this is best used by July 2023. Believe me, this 20 pounds flour will be long gone by then, so I'm not too worried about it. So we'll put these bags in the recycle bin, the paper portion. And yeah, you're checking it out. I do like these big scoops for filling up my canister containers. And I'll have to get a hammer to really tighten. Oh, okay. Don't know my own strength. So, what are we going to do today? Y'all, I want to thank the subscriber because I thought it was so kind. And oh my gosh, I'm going to cry. You guys probably get so tired of me crying. I just have a very big heart and people touch me. And this gal, and did it in such a sweet and kind way, said, basically, I'll paraphrase, I need you to rethink, maybe you should rethink driving and filming because I know you have your eyes on the road, but it's distracting and, people get in fatal accidents. And I really started thinking about that. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to quit doing that. This girl cared enough to risk making a comment that maybe wouldn't be like, oh, I loved your video, And I'm not going to call her name or call her out, but I appreciate you. If you're watching, I appreciate you. And you did make me rethink. So Frankie's over here looking cute. Gotta show you guys. Oh, she looking cute? Is you worn out from all the smelling? My little buddy. I don't know what I will ever do without my little buddy except to say I'll get another little buddy. I don't like to think that way. So I really don't need any supplies between Azure, my previous Walmart haul, which you will see, you've probably already seen. I don't always film in order, guys, of when you're going to see it. I also had a pretty good size, a $61 haul from the Amish grocery store, plus my butcher box, which I'm yet to cook anything out of, but that meat looks so fabulous. I was just out in the freezer. I thought I had so much room. I could probably use 2 of those big freezers, so I will put that on my savings list because they aren't inexpensive, neither to buy nor to run. I did get rid of my chest freezer, and I'm really glad that I did because it was a nightmare finding things in there. And I just couldn't afford an upright at the time I bought it. Then we went through the period of time where freezers weren't available. So I'll just be watching for sales and saving my pennies, and maybe I'll get a second one and maybe not. Maybe now I have the freeze dryer, I will have less meat on hand. I greatly admire, if you all haven't, she won't know who I am, Becky over at Acre Homestead. And, sometimes people say, why do you promote other channels? That's just hurting you. No, we're a community, and it's community above competition, always for me. And if you go over and you like her channel better and you unsubscribe to me, well, good. Maybe you got something that's more relative to what you need. I hope you will do that. But Becky does these like amazing freezer meals, and she will cook like 20 some meals at once. Well, that's not practical for me. I don't have the freezer space. I don't have the desire. And I never know what I want to eat from day to day, but she's cooking for her and her husband, and she's a very busy lady too. But I thought, maybe I should do some bulk cooking for the freeze dryer so that I can freeze dry some meals. I'm really anxious to bring you guys that. And I have to tell you, I felt so proud of myself when my apples came out. Isn't that funny? Something that simple, but I had a lot of operator error in getting it set up. And I have a lot of confidence about canning, pressure canning, water bath canning, dehydrating, soap making. Those are things I've done for 30, 40 years. But then not dehydrating, but everything else. Then you have a whole new genre way of preserving food. And I struggle, guys. I have to admit it. And I'm not unintelligent, but I had my share of blonde moments. So, you want to go with my mom? Do you want to go? Frankie doesn't leave the house. He hates the car, don't you? See, it makes me sick. So, I think I will go put some shoes on. Y'all can hear me scuffing around in my house slippers all the time. And pretty soon it'll be smack with the flip-flops, I'm hoping. But I think I'm going to take a little trip, and I'm not going to film while I drive, to Rural King and Walmart. And I'll just share with you what the jar situation looks like. My son, who I'm so proud of, is he pressure cans. He can do anything. He's so smart. He has probably less back off on trying new things than his mom does. And I don't have a whole lot of fear, but he will try anything. If he sees something and he wants to learn to do it, boom, he just does it. But I was speaking with him yesterday, and he's having trouble finding wide mouth quart jars. So he gave me a shopping list, which I'm happy to do. He lives up near Cleveland, and, regionally there can be problems finding certain supplies, and he does not have Walmart close to him, because that was my first suggestion. And also, I can't say this word, guys, but Rural King, that is the weirdest word, rural. I'd rather say I live in the country than rural, but at any rate, so I want to get some things for him. I need half-gallon jars. I'm going to take a quick stock of what I have left. I did quite a bit of canning over the winter. I did beans. I did lots and lots of chicken broth, and I did sweet onion jam. So I am lower on jars than normal. I want to can some like pinto beans, Great Northern beans, Frankie in the bags. So I'm going to need some more jars, and I like the wide mouths as well. So let me go see what I can find. Once I get to the store and I'm safe, I'll show you what stock looks like around here. I have plenty of rings and lids, so stay tuned. Well, we made it to Walmart. And of course, you can't really tell. It poured the rain the whole way here, but that's okay. I'm not sugar, I won't melt. I've been so proud of myself this season. I have only had to wear a winter coat twice, and that was both for Azure hauls, because I hate a winter coat. It's still hanging out in my back seat. You can't see it. But let's go in Walmart first, see what they have in the way of jars. And I might look at their kale, because if I'm going to do some kale powder, might be a good time just to get it today so it's on hand. Oh, I dropped the phone. And I didn't film while I was driving. And y'all, you may be wondering, like, what is up with your hair? Why is it so huge and frizzy? My hair is a barometer. And anytime it's humid, I have naturally curly hair. It just goes crazy. So anyway, it's starting to rain again, so let's get in Walmart. Try to talk over the music. I hope you can't hear it. They do have some canning supplies here. Looks like they only have quart jars. Those are wide mouth, so I will get those for Benny. And I don't see any half gallon, so that may be something that Rural King does have. So I'm gonna look at some end caps as well, but they do have a lot of lids. I think I'll pick up some wide mouth if they have it. It looks like they have 2. So pick those up. So while the shelves are well stocked, guys, don't be lulled into a false sense of security. That's all I'm going to say about that. So I'm going to pick up these jars and we'll go check out some end caps. Well, I did score some wide mouth pints as well as 2 cases of wide mouth quarts at Walmart. It ended up there was only 1 box of the wide mouth lids, but I took them. I thought there were 2. One was a regular mouth. So I'm now at Rural King, and this is actually our old Walmart before they built the new Super Walmart. And yeah, this guy's look kind of ominous, guys. Across the way here, I don't know if you can see way off in the distance, there's also a Harbor Freight, which I have not been in. It's a relatively new store, but let's go in Rural King. And you know, another option would be to check walmart.com for the half-gallon jars. So stay tuned. I'm gonna try to talk over the music, but this is something I've never seen. Single-use glass containers, pint jars to be used water bath canning. So they're probably thinner. Oh yeah, they're a lot lighter. No lids. $6.99 for a dozen. We're gonna pass on those and keep. Guys, they have almost nothing. They have some little bitties, some jam and jellies, some on an end cap. So plenty of food, just not a lot of canning jars. So I'm gonna do a little searching around. Oh, I love it when they block the aisles. And if I don't find anything, we will just go to walmart.com. I saw they had 6 for $12.98, so probably give that a shot. King was a total bust. Excuse me for itching my nose. Welcome to spring in Ohio. They only had jellies as the largest, and then those weird pints I showed you. So I got online real quick while I'm sitting here in the parking lot thinking, no worries, I'll order them. Guess what, guys? Limit of 1. So keep prepping, because even though we're not seeing in every store just those huge shortages, it could come. And from what I've heard and read, it's not coming now. We're not going to see it till closer to summertime where things get really lean. So keep busy. All right. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. A little of this, a little of that. My true message was, guys, don't be afraid to prep. Don't be afraid when people say you're crazy. I might be a little crazy. Just do what is best for you and your family. If you don't have the ability to freeze, dry, dehydrate, can, whatever, take a little money each week and buy 10 extra cans of things you know that you and your family will eat. Prepare in a way that makes sense to you. You don't have to do all the things I do to still be prepared. So, piece of good news. Sometime Wednesday or thereafter, we will close next week on the house. Yes, I will be so glad to get that monkey off my back. And I'm going to spend some time washing and allowing my jars to air dry. I've put my freeze dryer on freeze, so it will freeze the chamber before you add the food. My food is pretty well frozen that we did together earlier. So I'll get started on that. And I've decided with the half-gallon jars being a limit of 1, and that is only $13, so it's not enough to really get that free shipping. I'm going to wait until I need more. That may be good, that may be bad. I did find one that wasn't in use, and I have put up 25 pounds of sugar. I have an additional 25 to go. So I'm going to use these wide mouth quarts. It will take up a little bit more room, but it's better than just leaving the sugar in the brown paper bag. All right, well, if you haven't already, go ahead and smash that like button. Leave me a comment below. How is your prepping going? Are you ready for spring gardening and the onslaught of fresh fruits and vegetables? And as always, be healthy, be well, be blessed, and I'll see y'all real soon. Take care.